Good morning, YouTube, family and friends. Greetings from Warrenton, Virginia. According to the clock, it's 10:27 and it's 49 degrees out here, but I was so happy to see that the sun had come out and I could sit on this balcony. What do you call it? Balcony, yeah. My little outdoor area here at the townhouse, which I have been here about 7 days, and I apologize. It's taken me so long to actually get a video done, but it's been a little bit gloomy and dreary here. The sun was shining on my face when I made a little sound check, and then I moved forward to get more in the sun, but now a cloud has come over, so I'm still not in the sun. It is a bit cool. If I rock back too far, you'll see that my shirt says, I'll raise up some, United States Secret Service. I never was part of the Secret Service. In fact, I wore this shirt to my parents' house, or parents' complex. They live in a active senior living community. I should call it a community, not a complex. They have neighborhoods of 6 buildings apiece. So we were coming off the elevator, and another elderly man said, "Oh, thank you for your service." I said, "Well, thank you, but I never was part of them." Let me tell you how I got this shirt. Years ago, I was here visiting my parents over one of the holidays, or visiting for some reason, and a group that a consultant that I worked with very frequently was coming from North Texas to Northern Virginia to lobby in D.C. It was called the North Texas Crime Commission, and this lady, who's also a political consultant, is like the administrative assistant or executive assistant or whatever the term is these days. She does their paperwork and coordinates their events, maybe event coordinator, but she had planned a lobbying trip to D.C. and then asked me to come photograph them. That trip included visits with the director of the ATF, the Secret Service, the DEA, and a lot of other alphabet agencies. They call them alphabet because they all have 3 letters. And it happened to be a day the Secret Service was having a sale of all their items. So the lady did buy me a set of Secret Service cufflinks to give me as a gift for photographing the event, and I bought this shirt because it's a high quality and a nice reasonable price shirt. So it didn't get thrown away in the move because it doesn't have holes in the underarms and it's not faded out because I don't wear it a whole lot. I don't know, and up here I guess there are a lot of Secret Service agents that live in the various communities. I'm not pretending to be one, but it is a nice shirt, and we're taking a little trip today. Let me tell you a little bit about my living arrangements here. I have rented the basement of a townhouse. There is another tenant on the first level, and the landlord uses the 3rd level when she comes to town. So the tenant and the landlord owns a farm in another state that, I stopped at on the last trip. Y'all got a very brief glimpse as we crossed into West Virginia. It's a bug out location, so I never disclose the exact area, but the lady upstairs was planning to take some Christmas decorations out there today and store them in one of the buildings, so she asked if I wanted to ride with her. So I am going to ride with her, and she says we're leaving 12-ish, but it might be closer to 1, so it's 10:30 now. So since the sun was out, I thought I would show my face, show that I'm still alive, and try to give you a brief update since my leaving Branson video. So I guess this will be called my Welcome to Virginia video. I am very glad to be here. As it's all unfolded, I have come to realize that moving here was a very wise decision. I have spent several nights with my parents, several nights in the apartments. I go back and forth. We're about 45 minutes apart if there's not a traffic incident. Because I'm not working yet at a regular job, I don't have to go after work or before work, so I can kind of avoid the worst of the traffic. So it hasn't taken me more than 45 minutes yet. I spent the night there one night. We played games with some of the neighbors, and I had several stops I needed to make on the way out here. So ultimately I was getting the last leg of the trip after the last errands at about 5 o'clock, and there was a bit of traffic coming off of the interstate. It's probably 10 miles from the interstate to this town. And I wouldn't call it rush hour. I mean, it was less traffic than I usually dealt with in Texas, but the roads are kind of smaller here. They're mostly, once you get off the interstate, they're just 2 lanes each way on the highway. Sometimes there are 3, but then the third one merges, so it's interesting. I grew up here, so I'm used to it. It is a bit colder than I thought it would be at the end of March, but it's fluctuating like it does in Texas. One day is 60, one day is 40, but there's been a lot of gloom and drizzle since I got here. In fact, one day it rained enough to push all the buds off the tree onto our cars in the driveway. I was happy to get out of Branson and get around some people here. That was very good for my mental health, even though I wasn't suffering, I wasn't happy, and I was able to take care of some business here, which also relieved pressure on my mind. In fact, when I got here, the deposit refund from my apartment in Fort Worth was here, so I was able to do my first business here in this town. There's a bank branch that I was using in Texas. It was also, there's a branch in my parents' community, so I knew they were up here, but I didn't know there was one I could walk to. And I will say I can walk to almost everything here if I want to. But I'm kind of up on a hill here. I can see over the tops of the stores and over to the next little ridge. So that ultimately means if I do walk to anything, it's downhill to get there, uphill to get back. So I think I'm just going to walk around the little circle that I live on here. But I haven't even done that yet. There are about 7 steps to get up to the car, and then some flat areas in between the steps. I don't know if you can hear my wind chime or not. This microphone's supposed to direct straight to me. When I made the little clip earlier, there were some birds chirping, but I didn't hear them. So maybe the microphone is doing what it's supposed to. It's called a shotgun mic. It's supposed to get what comes straight at it, not all the side. And since I'm under a little cover here, there's the deck for the upper level up there. And the lady, when she had it built, she was very smart. She got metal put under the bottom here so I could sit out here in the rain if I want to. And they had this one nice outdoor chair here. I went by Meadows Farms nursery yesterday and asked them about some hanging baskets that I could grow either vegetables or fruit in. Kind of the whole reason for the bug out farm is to be self-sufficient in case of a emergency, whether that's a natural or financial or war or whatever comes. We're hoping to be able to, grow some food, maybe some animals, and then be self-sufficient. So I thought maybe I could convert a little bit of land here into a elevated garden. I need to find out if that's legal in this city/town. I don't want to have chickens here. They're a little loud and messy for in town. But I thought I could grow a hanging basket of strawberries, or maybe 2 or 3, or maybe a squash plant could go over the sides. And I'm going to do a little research on what I can grow in a hanging basket and what I can grow in an elevated garden. I could probably grow some potatoes in an elevated garden. And here again, this is not for me to generally eat. It's for emergencies, or to barter with, or to sell. And speaking of jobs, it looks like there's 2 or 3 options around here that I have considered. I think either in Branson or before I left Fort Worth, I put in for a full-time position at a place called the Warrenton Aquatic Recreation Facility. They call it the Wharf for short. Funny, they call something a wharf in a town that has no beachfront access, because I consider a wharf on a river or an ocean or the Chesapeake Bay or something, but that's just the abbreviation. Oh, here comes the sun. Oh, good. And that's why I want to do it outside. I wanted a little bit of sun exposure. I wanted my eyes to see the sun, because that helps your circadian rhythms when you're trying to go to sleep at night. I'll get back to the wharf, but let's talk about sleep right now. I have been tired the past week. I want to blame the driving, but I also think because there's a new Planet Fitness here also that I could walk to if I'm wanting to walk uphill on the way back. But because of the supply chain shortages or whatever excuse they want to use, they don't have the tanning or the red light equipment set up yet. So in order to use that, I have to go about 30 minutes into another town. So I haven't been doing that on a daily basis like I did when I was in Fort Worth, when it was 15 minutes to the 2 or 3 Planet Fitnesses I could go to. And the sun has not been out as much here, so I've been taking vitamin D supplements. I've actually been also taking vitamin K2 to direct the calcium that the vitamin D tells my body to absorb away from my arteries. As you know, I have a fully blocked artery, and I'm not sure if the K2 is making me tired or the supplement or not getting the sun, but I just have not. In fact, that's one reason. Excuse me, I got a little bit of gas coming out up. I guess better up than down, but I haven't eaten anything today, so I'm not sure why I would be belching. I do have a little bit of a Diet Mountain Dew. I'll try to get back to that too. I have a good supply of that here, which was not common on the road. So anyway, back to the lack of sleeping. That's one reason I'm trying to stay forward so I get sun and not the shadow on my head. That's one reason I haven't stayed at Mom and Dad's quite as much. I have some room darkening curtains there that I put up when I'm there. I like it dark and warm when I sleep. So blackout curtains are ideal, and I had bought some before I left Fort Worth, and I brought them with me. With the room darkening in Fort Worth, I had to hang like a flannel sheet behind them to get them dark enough, because all these apartment complexes have the spotlights and the parking lot lights and all, and they just shine right in your bedroom windows. So here I've put up the blackout curtains on my bedroom windows, and it is very dark, and I am sleeping well here. The lady upstairs kind of donated a bed to me, and she took one of the beds from the 3rd floor. So it's fairly comfortable, and I'm looking forward to getting the pillow top mattress cover that I have stored in the landlord's garage in Texas when I go back this coming weekend. So let me kind of speed it up here and concentrate on so I can get this finished and uploaded before we head out to the farm this afternoon. My sleep has not been ideal. In fact, I talked to a friend I texted her. She may be trying to call, but I put the phone on Do Not Disturb while I was doing the video. When I was a police officer and a park ranger, when I first lived in Virginia, what was that, 30 years ago? The game warden in the area and I were good friends, and then he married a nice young lady. And about shortly after I moved to Texas, or maybe to Europe at that point, or no, when I became the police officer, he was there when I was the police officer also. But at some point they moved to Idaho, and he worked with the Fish and Game out there. And now they both, well, she's not retired. I think she's working for a hospital system close by here. But they're living a little bit north of Winchester, almost into West Virginia. And I had told them I would probably come spend the night with them before I got back on the road. But since I haven't been sleeping, now I want to stay here. So I'm hoping I can catch up with them tomorrow, even though I told them I would probably stay with them Tuesday night. But I do hope to be back on the road Tuesday morning, heading to Texas, which will allow me shorter amounts of driving each day, because I'll allow 4 days to get there. I am excited to be going back for the wedding. I want to do the wedding. I like the couple I'm doing the wedding for, but after not sleeping so well 4, 6, 8 days on the road has me a little bit concerned. That's why I'm planning to stop a lot and sightsee on the way down, because I'll be loaded again on the way back. So the way back I will be trying to get here with only 2 nights on the road, but I might spend 3 nights or even 4 nights on the road on the way down. Well, it better be 3. I'll probably spend the 4th night at my landlord's house in East Texas, and then I'm going to go in and do the DEXA scan, which got canceled because of the snowstorm before I moved. And my weight is doing well. I'm very healthy. Other than the little bit of a mental health concern in Branson because of no people being around and the lack of sleep. I have pretty much caught up on. I've been sleeping 8 or 9, maybe 10 hours the last few nights because I don't really have anything to do other than make videos, and the sun hasn't been cooperating. I wanted to make the first one outside so you can see Virginia is comfortable. It's not warm yet, but at least I can be outside in the mornings. I had planned to make this video yesterday afternoon, and the sun was out like this in the morning, but by afternoon it was all cloudy and gloomy and cold and drizzly, and I didn't want to do the first one inside. So I said, oh, hopefully in the morning the sun will be out, but they were calling, the report I saw said we might even have a little bit of snow or rain over at the farm, and a high of 41 today, and it's already about 49 here. I think it's going to 60 here today. So let me now backtrack and say I've applied for a full-time job at the wharf over a month ago, and when I look online, it is still announced. Because it's a government job, they probably have to have at least 3 highly qualified candidates to do the interview. I am highly qualified for that position, but they also have part-time jobs for 29 hours a week, and that would be sufficient for me. So I was telling, when I talked to my landlord on the phone last night, she's asking, have you heard from the wharf? She thinks that would be an ideal job for me, and it would. I told her no, but I went there yesterday, and it is a very nice facility. It has a hot tub, what they call a leisure pool. It's more for kids, has a lazy river and a big old water slide and a couple small water slides and a splash pad, along with a very big hot tub. I think it's a 15-person capacity hot tub. Then they have the competition pool with like 10 lanes for swim team meets and competition swimming. And then there's a weight room or something in there and some meeting rooms, and they have showers and all that. So I may apply for the part-time job there just with the hopes of them getting to know me and then moving me up to the full-time position. But I think I'm leaning towards applying for the part-time job at what they call Sheetz. That's S-H-E-E-T-Z. That's the last name of the owners. That's a family-owned company, and they're convenience stores all over Virginia, Ohio, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Maryland, and maybe some in West Virginia. But they start at $15.50 an hour for part-time or full-time, and you get an extra $1.50 if you work the evening shift like I did at the PD. So that would actually be a little bit more pay than I made for the government in Texas. Of course, it's only 29 hours a week too, but that's sufficient for me. I'm really only looking to work enough to pay the rent and maybe my insurance while I also continue to develop this YouTube channel, which I am getting very long here. And of course, another option is the Planet Fitness, just opened, and they are also desperately hiring, and it is the same franchisee that I went to in Texas. So they have over 100 locations in 4, 5, 6 states. So I have to decide if I want to look at somewhere where I can like pay into the retirement I paid into when I was a park ranger decades ago, which would be the town of Warrenton. And then I don't have to work like 2 years and I'd have a retirement. Or if I want to just do another part-time job somewhere and just get by and develop this channel. So if you have a comment about, if I ought to go whole hog in the workforce again, or if I should just work up to 29 hours a week and concentrate on the videos more, I am going to say, if you made it this far, thank you, congratulations. I am going to continue this vlogging style until I get settled up here, which will be about another 2 weeks. Next week I'm going to be driving back to Texas. Next weekend I'm going to be photographing the video. Sunday I'll probably be going through the 2 loads of stuff I have at my landlord's house and packing 1 load to bring up here of stuff I kind of need right away, like pots and pans and dishes. And then the next 3-4 days I may get here, about Thursday from 2 weeks. So I'll kind of try to vlog as I sightsee and travel. And then I do have a few health videos already in the can, and I'm listening to lots of doctors as I drive up and down the road. then I will get back into more health-related videos. But don't think that all this moving is not about my health. I moved up here to be closer to my parents for peace of mind, to spend the final years with them. Their final years, hopefully, not mine. Although, who knows these days. I have been closer to death than they have in this life, so we aren't going to count anything out, but I'm doing things to make sure my life lasts a little bit longer. And I'm loving this apartment. It's very quiet here. It's in a nice semi-residential area. I have seen a few people walk dogs out along the back here, and a cat showed up last night. I wish I could, if it's a feral cat, I wish I could catch it and take it to the farm because there's too many mice at the farm. But I guess it's also helping keep the mice down here if it is feral. It may just be a neighbor's. I wouldn't want to take a neighbor's cat and relocate it to another state. I'm not very good at catching cats anyway. And they don't really want a feral cat out there. But they need one. I will probably help them coordinate how to get that self-sufficient. So I may be going back and forth. So I probably shouldn't go too heavy on a full-time job. And I also want to go back and forth to my parents. So you can kind of tell around the edges I'm saying that I've already gotten rather busy up here, and I don't want to do that. I've also, a friend in another town about an hour south of here has asked me to cat sit for her the week of April 11th, so I'll probably get back about the 6th, 7th, and then I got to go down there the 11th. Maybe that's when I'll apply for jobs. And I pretty much decided I want to go south to look for jobs, not up towards my parents, because that's when the traffic gets bad. So hopefully that's an update. I found a store here towards my parents, kind of near the other Planet Fitness that has the tanning and well, it's actually in the same shopping center, where I can get ground beef for $1.99 a pound. That's cheaper than I got in Texas, but it's the 85%. I'm hoping they'll put some 80% out. But they say it's the same difference, and I guess that's because they're being careless in how much fat they put in. So I did buy 3 pounds of that in a value pack. You got to buy it in the value pack to get it for $1.99. But I would think I was paying up to $3.99 for the 73% before I left Texas. So some things are cheaper here, some things are more expensive. I am still living off of my savings and what I had available when I left Fort Worth. I will get paid for the wedding. I've already gotten a deposit. So I am not desperate to go back and take a job. But thank you if you made it this far along, and I look forward to your comments. I'm also looking forward to taking some beautiful pictures out at the farm today. Probably not on my phone. I think I'll take the camera, make sure it survived the trip, and we'll be ready for the wedding when I go back. In fact, I probably ought to go plug in the battery before we go out there. I got about 2 hours. It'll recharge by then. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for watching me. And if you, I guess I forgot to say I'm Chip and the channel is CP59Fit. There should be a little subscribe button over on this side, I think. A little red, white, and blue symbol. I would love to have some more subscribers, and welcome to the subscribers I picked up along the road. If you think it's a travel vlogging channel, I apologize. I don't want that to come out on the algorithm. That's why I'm going to continue vlogging until I'm done traveling, and then I will get back into the unconventional healthy living strategies, which is why you're probably here in the first place. That's why I want to stress that this move is part of my unconventional healthy living strategy. God bless. Bye-bye.